I'm driving to work, and I'm just thinking about all these videos and whatever. And I guess I was just thinking that I also wanted to say, I know I have all these stories. I have all these stories pertaining to prison. And a lot of the stories, are, nothing. There's not a whole lot of substance in my story thus far that makes somebody want to jump up and do high fives and do cartwheels. You know what I'm saying? So the story is mostly like a struggle and like a story of sacrifice, and it leads to depression and isolation and whatever. So anyhow, I also wanted to mention that if a person is in prison or has been in prison, they can think about that whole situation all over again, go in their mind and just revisit that whole situation from the first click of the handcuffs from the cops on the streets all the way until, your release date. Think of all that and remember that pain, remember that misery. You think of all these things, and whether you're in there or out here and you're thinking about these things, it will make you appreciate the things that are out here more. So if you get another opportunity to come back out here, you should appreciate what's out here, because what else, if you don't have appreciation for what's out here, and if a person doesn't have respect for authority, mainly those two things, to have appreciation for what's out here and have respect for authority. There's other things you have to definitely, if you have children, you have to be involved in your children's lives and things like that. Be responsible, obviously, holding a job, all these different things, but you have to be able to appreciate these things and respect that authority, respect your family and your relationships that are important to you in order to be able to stay out here. Because if otherwise you'll just go and do something crazy at any time, because you won't really care about the outcome, because you probably haven't thought it through. And that's how it is usually when we catch these cases. We'll be out here just living so reckless that sometimes things just develop and then it turns into a felony. Other times people go out and plan it and let's go out and do something. That's a whole different, agenda, but it still leads to the same location. You know what I'm saying? So being in prison don't have to corrupt you. You don't have to develop and wear that prison mentality and think that you have to play by a certain set of rules, and all that stuff is that stuff is just imaginative. These certain sets of rules, and you got to behave this way, and all these prison politics that exist in there, it really makes the time hard. The inmates are doing it to themselves. Like, for instance, how I was speaking about down in Arizona, and I said some videos back that it's going on up here too, talking about the racial politics in prison. The inmates make it hard on themselves because whatever ethnicity you may be from, if you're at odds with other ethnicities, all that does is just, it makes your time hard. It just makes you have to have your antennas up all the time for some beef that's going on, and you really have to just ask yourself, why is this beef even happening? Like, why are you involved to be fighting? What are you fighting for? Have you ever even asked yourself that? Or like, you think it's just the right thing to do because, we black and they want, shoot, one thing about it, if that was the thought process, there wouldn't be a whole lot of this black on black crime. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, most people just follow suit, just go with the flow. Ain't got no weight or substance to themselves, like cotton afloat and just show up anywhere, and if you don't have any substance to weigh you down, you don't have any sorts of morals, because everybody is just on the, how is it, IDAGF, I guess, if I'm saying that right. Most people are on that I don't care attitude, and then they'll keep the attitude that they don't care even after receiving consequence and punishment for misbehaving out here, go in there and still continue to be on that same path that got you there. That right there is insanity. That's nonsense. That's pure insanity. And then for those that are able to get out and come out here and then trying to keep on wearing that prison mentality and want to try to wear that trip to prison as some stripes, like, yeah, you know, I've been down and whatever, and want to take that back to your hood and have some little homies looking up to you and calling you OG because you went to prison. And then you'll just, like I said, you wear that like you got some sergeant stripes or lieutenant stripes or something on your shoulder, like it was a great accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, in the real world, you have to have a job. If you want to be out here in the real world, you have to have a job. You have to be able to function out here like a normal civilian. You can't be out here having animosity and be at odds with everybody that's around you because you still think that you have to carry those traits. So you have to let all that go. Benefit if you've been to prison or any situation that we've been in, no matter what it is, there's no need in complaining about it today, about things that happened yesterday as far as mistakes that we've made. There's no need. Like, just own up, because for one, you can't change nothing in the past. You can't change anything in the past, period. Once you've said it or done it, it's out there. It's in the universe, and it's going to do its thing and generate a response. Anyway, the thing is, so like, let the past go, but benefit from those things that you went through that were tough, or, because that's what makes us have resilience. If you let it build you up, that's what lets us have resilience. That's why I don't have any gray hairs on my head, and I did all that time. And that's why I haven't lost no teeth, and I wasn't in there just, I wasn't letting the time do me. I was doing the time, and under some crazy circumstances too, and I was still in there doing that time. I wasn't in there fighting guards and trying to assault guards. I tried to prevent that type of stuff because I don't want to see you go get more time. And I don't want to see that type of violence in there anyway, because everybody's related to somebody. Even that guard related to somebody. And like I said several videos back, if you stop having that mentality that you have to be an enemy in your heart with the staff just because they're staff, that just don't make any sense. That's just, I'ma just blindly hate you. Blindly. Like how they say love is blind, hatred ain't that way. Hatred ain't blind, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people will do, I'ma just blindly hate you just because you got on that uniform. Now that same individual could be on a sting operation, hypothetically, coming to the prison dressed like an inmate. You don't know anything about that person's past. You just think they're an inmate, but they're really a staff on a sting operation. They can come in there and act like an inmate and smoke weed and do all the most that you can do and get all sorts of information, because everybody want to run their mouth and talk to everybody else and tell everybody business. So you'll give yourself up under those circumstances. But then a person be in the guard uniform and you just want to hate them off the rip, and you looking at people all around you telling them everything, and then want to call them snitches. They sunk your ship, but you let them on the boat. Straight up, you told them everything that they needed to know to be on the boat. They sunk your ship, and then you want to call them a snitch. But who told them? Who really the snitch? That's kind of crazy. Anyway, so I'm just thinking about that. I'm just saying, I'm on my way to work. I feel good to be able to say that. I'm making some pretty good money. I remember when I was in there making $1.21 a day. $1.21, I was making that straight up. And managing. I was in there managing myself, living off that little raggedy $26 or something pay store. But I was in there cutting hair and making little tokens like that because I can cut hair, so I stayed on that. I wasn't in there writing letters to my family and calling people up with my hand out, begging for some money and playing the violin, trying to ask people to feel sorry for me because I'm in there. Or even when I went back, I didn't ask nobody to feel sorry for me. I told them I wasn't supposed to be back in there, but I wasn't in there asking nobody to feel sorry for me, straight up. Because like I said, I think I said it yesterday or the day before, either way, I did go back to prison, in my opinion, under the wrong circumstances, but I gave them the leverage to start that process. I said that, so that's accountability, straight up. I gave them that leverage. My own poor responsibility, having poor decision making, when I'm deciding to be, what do you want to call it, spontaneous and just randomly do some stupid stuff, that's what it could lead to. That's one thing I just said a minute ago. Once you say or do something, it's out there and it's in the universe, and it will generate a response. So just accept that. Be ready to accept that. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another thing that was in there killing dudes. That was killing dudes is the relationship process. They in there trying to hold on to a relationship. They want somebody out here to just stop living their life and be on isolation, because I got myself in here. I'm on isolation, and you're who I was with when I went in there, so I want you to be on isolation. That's kind of like the Egyptian days, when if one of those high-ranking Egyptian officials died, their wife and family got buried with them. Like, oh, he died? Well, I had some plans. Kind of wanted to go sit in the pool with those ladies over there, but man, I gotta just get wrapped up. I mean, I'm still breathing. And my kids, anyway, that's how it is. So, that's the same ideology. I just think about that type of stuff, and it's just crazy to me. So, so the dudes, that's what I was about to say. Most of the things I was hearing dudes say is they was complaining because they wanted their girl to be coming to visit. They wanted their girl to send money orders. They wanted their girl to be faithful. Don't be messing around with nobody. I don't want nobody around my kids. I can't be around my kids, but I don't want you getting no help with my kids while I'm in here. Like, if I can't do it, no, don't let nobody do it. Let them struggle, apparently. But the thing is, they be in there wanting the woman to be faithful, but before they went in there, I asked several of them, just, hey, bro, like, you stressing, you in here about to fight and carrying on, and you asking her to be faithful, and you talking about she talking to some dude or whatever, but before you came back in here, was she the only woman that you was seeing? Like, you got to ask yourself that. Was she the only woman that you was messing around with? If she was, then okay, you kind of got a position to, like, be making some sort of argument, because depending on how much time you have, maybe she could be faithful and wait it out because you was faithful. But if you wasn't faithful, and you know in your heart of hearts that you was not faithful, this is that response from the energies that you put in there when you weren't faithful. The energies that you put into the universe, this is the response. It's coming back like a fax message coming out. It's coming back. And so ain't no need in complaining about that. You wasn't faithful. And then here's another thing. The dudes would be wanting that same type of loyalty, but then they be in there trying to holler at every female prison guard. I remember when I was wearing those shoes. I told y'all about the story about the situation down in Arizona when I was messing around with the sergeant. And but however, I wasn't in a relationship when I was in there. I wasn't in there trying to be in some relationship. I was just doing my time. So, but yeah, the dudes would be in there trying to talk to female guards, and then leave from trying to talk to that female guard, go hop on the phone, call their woman, and then be on there trying to stomp down about some matters on loyalty and all this. The most disloyal of the people are those who talk like that and behave like that. The ones who are disloyal and they want loyalty, they are among the most disloyal. And they be the ones that get the biggest tattoos on themselves, talking about trust no one, loyalty, 100, and all these things. You're trying to convince yourself of something. But none of all that's just graffiti that you put on yourself. That thing, just because you tatted it on yourself, it definitely does not give you, the ownership of that definition. You don't wear those attributes. All right, I'm going to get back on here in a little bit.